What is Suga hiding this time? And why is the world suddenly watching his every move? Is this the beginning of something massive, or the calm before an unexpected storm? Don't scroll away, stay, read, and tell us what you think. Like, comment, and subscribe for more updates you won't want to miss. What if everything you thought you knew about Suga suddenly changed overnight? What if a single quiet move, almost invisible at first, was enough to shake fans across continents and ignite a global wave of speculation? That is exactly what is happening right now, and no one, not even the most dedicated fans, can fully explain it yet. It started subtly, almost too subtle to notice. A shift in activity, a pattern that didn't quite align with what fans were used to seeing. At first, it was dismissed as coincidence, something minor that would fade away as quickly as it appeared. But then came the second sign, and then the third. And before anyone could even process what was happening, the internet had already begun to buzz with questions, theories, and a growing sense that something significant was unfolding behind the scenes. Why now? Why this sudden change? And most importantly, what does it mean? For years, Suga has been known for his calm, composed presence, someone who rarely acts without intention. Every move he makes tends to carry weight, even when it appears casual on the surface. That is precisely why this latest activity has drawn so much attention. Fans know him well enough to understand that nothing is ever truly random, and that behind every quiet step lies a deeper story waiting to be uncovered. The global reaction was immediate. Social media platforms lit up with discussions that ranged from hopeful excitement to emotional concern. Some fans believed this could be a sign of a new creative chapter, perhaps even a project that had been carefully planned for months, if not years. Others, however, sensed something more personal, something that hinted at a deeper emotional journey rather than just a professional move. And then came the moment that changed everything. A brief appearance, unexpected and unannounced, captured attention in a way no one had anticipated. It wasn't dramatic, it wasn't loud, but it was enough. The way he carried himself, the subtle expressions, the almost unreadable aura, it all felt different. Fans began to ask themselves questions they hadn't considered before. Was this growth? Was this change? Or was this something entirely? Is a certain power in silence, and Suga has always understood that better than most. While others might choose to explain, to clarify, to reassure, he often lets the moment speak for itself. And right now, that silence is louder than ever. It has created a space where imagination takes over, where every detail is analyzed, and where every possibility feels both exciting and slightly unsettling. Some believe that this is the beginning of a major comeback, something that could redefine his artistic identity once again. The clues, they argue, are all there if you look closely enough. The timing, the subtle shifts, the energy, it all points towards something bigger on the horizon. Others, however, are not so sure. They wonder if this is less about performance and more about transformation, a personal evolution that cannot easily be explained through music or public appearances alone. And then there is the emotional side of it all, the part that cannot be measured or predicted. Fans who have followed his journey for years feel it instinctively. There is something in the air, something that goes beyond announcements and headlines. It is the kind of feeling that makes people pause, reflect, and question what they thought they understood. Could this be a turning point? Could this moment mark the beginning of a new era not just for Suga, but for everyone who has been inspired by him? The truth is, no one knows for sure. And perhaps that is what makes it so compelling. As the days pass, the attention only grows stronger. Each new detail, no matter how small, adds fuel to the fire. Discussions become debates, theories become narratives, and the line between speculation and reality begins to blur. Yet through it all, one thing remains constant: the undeniable impact of his presence. It is not just about what he is doing, but about how it makes people feel. That is the real story here. Not just the activity itself, but the reaction it creates. The anticipation, the curiosity, the emotional connection that refuses to fade. It is a reminder that influence is not always loud or obvious. Sometimes it is quiet, subtle, and deeply personal. And right now, the world is watching, waiting, wondering what comes next. Is this the calm before something extraordinary? Or is it a quiet revelation that will only be understood in hindsight? Whatever the answer may be, one thing is certain: this moment matters. It has captured attention in a way that cannot be ignored, and it has opened the door to possibilities that feel both thrilling and uncertain. So what do you think is really happening? Is this the start of something huge, or are we witnessing a side of Suga that has always been there, just hidden beneath the surface? Share your thoughts, join the conversation, and don't forget to stay connected, because if this is only the beginning, you won't want to miss what comes next. And just when the world felt like it was on the edge of discovering the truth, something shifted again. Not in a loud, explosive way that headlines could easily capture, but in a quiet, almost intimate manner that only those who were truly paying attention could understand. The noise of speculation, the endless theories, the emotional waves that had been building across the globe, all of it slowly began to settle into something deeper, something clearer. It became evident that this was never about a single moment, a single appearance, or a single mysterious action. It was about a journey, a transformation that had been unfolding far longer than anyone realized. What seemed sudden was, in reality, the result of countless unseen steps, decisions made in silence, and emotions carried without explanation. Suga had not changed overnight. He had been changing all along, and perhaps that was the real revelation that left fans both stunned and moved. The realization that growth does not always announce itself. That sometimes the most powerful evolutions happen quietly, away from the spotlight, until one day they become impossible to ignore. The global attention that once felt chaotic and overwhelming slowly transformed into something more meaningful. Instead of asking, "What is happening?" people began to ask, "What does this mean?" Instead of chasing answers, they began to appreciate the journey itself. There was no dramatic confession, no single statement that explained everything. And yet somehow it felt complete, because in the end the story was never about solving a mystery. It was about witnessing a human being evolve. A final glimpse, brief, calm, and steady, was enough to leave a lasting impression. There was no need for grand gestures or elaborate explanations. The message, though unspoken, was clear to those who had followed closely. Not everything needs to be revealed to be understood. And maybe that is what made this moment so powerful, not the shock, not the speculation, but the quiet acceptance that some stories are meant to be felt, not explained. As the world slowly moved on from the frenzy, something remained. A lingering emotion, a sense of connection that felt stronger than before. Fans carried it with them, not as a question that needed answering, but as a feeling they could hold on to. The spotlight dimmed, the noise faded, and the mystery gently dissolved into memory. But the impact stayed. And perhaps, somewhere in that silence, the real story finally found its ending, not as a conclusion but as a beginning that no longer needed words.